So I was in the middle of recording another video, which is the gig log for this little June 5th-ish week of a graduation party and a gala, and I had the sudden idea of, I'm about to spend 2 hours programming, and why not just set up a camera and show you guys kind of how I prep a show file for on-site programming. Because there's a number of things that I can do now in previs that I, A, won't want to do on-site, and B, should allocate that time to other stuff. Because it's just, that's where my priorities should be when I'm on site. So I'm going to basically show you how I prep a show file for on-site programming. Meaning all the big stuff I'm going to do now, and then when I get on site I'm going to do color, positions, all the little things that you would see on site. So I'm going to just literally set up my camera facing here, and you'll see my screen, you'll see my fingers doing their thing. And yeah. You're in 1080, by the way, because it might be long, so needed to save some space, but think you live. There's a couple of questions that I want to answer now and not later, just to clear up any questions that might arise. So question A is, what software am I programming in? So I'm programming in ONYX, which is an Obsidian software. It used to be a Martin software, it used to be Martin MPC. It is a free software, but I have a Obsidian NX1 console, which is a pretty brand new console. I love it. Fits my needs very well. It's an 8 universe console. I'm not going to explain what DMX is right now, but 8 universes basically means I have 4,096 channels that I can assign fixtures across, which is pretty much where I sit as far as the majority of rigs I'm running. I can generally fit it inside that. I'll be using probably 4 or 5 universes for this setup. Question 2, how am I doing everything that I'm doing in terms of a visual standpoint? Okay, so there's a piece of software called Capture Visualizer, and Capture Visualizer is a 3D rendering software that has all of the industry standard gear, lights, truss, all of that loaded into it, so you can actually set it up like you would in person, and you can see everything that you're doing in a 3D space with all the control that you would have on a real rig just in a computer. And what's the benefit of this? Well, you can do pretty much everything that you're going to need to do on the live front just in the software. There's a couple things that will have to change, positions mainly, and that's just due to, you know, a couple geometric changes. I'm not, you know, this type of rig especially, I'm not getting super nitty-gritty about where stuff goes, just because this is not a, you know, this is not a rig and fly type of thing where I have engineers that are, you know, doing stuff within the millimeter of chains and motors and stuff. I'm using the software so I can just visualize everything that I'm doing on the console from like an actual what is this doing standpoint, as opposed to just like I'm pressing buttons and not really seeing what it's doing. It also saves me setting up the entire rig, taking it down, and then going and doing it on site, or just doing it all on site. And it gives me just, again, that flexibility to do what I need to do from a visual standpoint ahead of the time. And then enters that. Kind of answered this question a minute ago. So I'm using an Obsidian NX1. It's, again, an 8U console. It has, you'll see it has 10 faders, 10 buttons, little touchscreen for programming. I also have the NXK, which is a programming wing, and that'll give me some buttons for typing in numbers, pressing record, clear, all that. It's super nice to have, especially from the standpoint of switching between ONYX and MA2 all the time. I'm used to having my my MA controller, so that's nice to have. That's kind of it. There's not a whole lot going on here. The first thing I'm going to show you is how to actually patching. Well, I'm going to patch in front of you in Capture. I'm not going to really explain too much of it, but the patch in Capture is identical to live. So if fixture 1 is at address 1 in Capture, it's also going to be at address 1 live. If fixture 96 is at address 438 in Capture, it's also going to be at address 438 live. Yeah, let's go program a rig. Hey, I'm back here. So I wanted to make 2 points. A, I just switched off log color, so if the colors got a little worse, then I apologize. Point B is I'm talking into a sideways microphone, and if it sounds weird, then I apologize. But in any case, let's get started with Capture. So This is my work screen. I'm not going through how I actually designed this in Capture because that's just way not the subject of this video. I might do another video on that, but that's a separate topic. So basically, I'm just going to explain a very, very rough version of what this rig is. So this is a dance floor. This little white thing's a 16 by 24 dance floor. And then this red thing is a 3D tent model that is kind of close to spec of what the actual thing will be. It will be 5 feet shorter on both sides, so I did leave spaces. All of these squares are a foot, I think. So this is pretty much to scale of what this part will be. All of this is truss. These are just truss segments that are real dimensions. So this 2-meter piece of global truss is actually 2 meters, which is about 6.5 feet. That's just the basis of Capture. This is a live view, which is where things actually like light up and stuff. And you can see like this is, there is a way to make stuff light up in the software itself, but this is not how I run an actual show. You'll see I actually break out a console, which is how I run the show, both in Capture and live. So nothing's patched right now. So basically when I go to my universe panel, I'm actually going to lower my ISO a little bit so you can see what's going on a little better. There we go. That should be a little better. So yeah, so this is my universes. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna patch. So I don't really know where I'm going to be exactly. I think I'm going to be somewhere around here in the actual tent. So I just like to look at things from looking at a stage. It goes left to right. And in this case, it is a big box essentially. So I'm just gonna look at it like I'm here, and I'm just gonna patch in this order. So everything that I do will be this fixture, like around and through that fixture, if it makes sense. So in this case, you see this is all 3D and stuff. It'll be whatever that is, and then a round robin, and then through there. And what that does is you'll see when I start building effects, I can start doing things in linear order to make different circle effects and things like that. And then as soon as I need to do anything that's like symmetric, I can also just set offsets that let me basically just reverse or inverse effects on this truss, and then they'll actually sync up symmetrically. Again, I'll show you kind of how that works later. So the first thing I'm going to do is just hop in and just set my patch. I don't mind patching fixtures in person. I've never been somebody that's like I have to have my fixtures addressed when they show up. So again, I'm just going to work from here around. So basically how I'm going to do this is I'm going to literally just select them in sequential order, which is super, super important. Right? And then I'm going to drag this. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna teach you another thing real quick. So I'm gonna call this universe 1 and this universe 2, because remember I can't fit this all in one universe. Too many parameters. So see, this is going to be address 1 in universe 1. If you see universe A, press patch, and then you go to universe B, and then it'll just be the exact same thing, just like that. And then next I'm going to patch in my PARs, which are these. I have 6 of these per pipe, or per truss, that actually act as normal PARs. Remember, this is universe A, don't want to mess that up. And same thing here. So universe B, 61. So you'll actually notice that all the patch is going to be identical on both of these trusses in the end. So this is 1, this is 1, this this fixture is whatever this is address. I mean, it'll show me when I highlight it, or it should. Oh wait, that's A. That's why. So that'll show me that's 89, and then if I go to B, the opposing one will also be 89. So next I'm going to patch in. I actually have truss warmers in here too, so I'll do truss warmer truss warmer. My mouse wheel's squeaky. So we're going to be at 103. Same thing, just the inverse. Same thing at 103. And then now I'm going to do my Wash FX, which are these units. These are going to function as a strobe / other effect utility. Just going to make sure they're in the right channel mode. They should be. Yep. Universe A117. And you'll see these are actually a multi-instance fixture, similar to the PiX fixtures that I'm using. I'm going to be running pixel effects on all of these things, as long as my channels work out, so I'm not going to worry about lower channel modes yet. I have confidence, I think, that this will all math out correctly. I'm just praying that that is the case. The last thing I have to patch are these PiX. I'm going to run through everything to make sure that every fixture is patched and ID'd in the software. There's 7 of these per wing. It's a 7-meter truss span. I have a 2-meter section, a 2-meter section, and 2 1.5-meter sections. So that makes up 7 meters. Yep, that'll work out. Sweet, that is perfect. So I can actually give each truss one universe, and that math works just right, just fine. So this, again, those are the last thing in the universe. The actual order of things in the universe doesn't really matter. All that the address signifies is just where the fixture is going to talk to the console on the universe. And again, if I have one of these in the wrong spot and it matches on the console, it literally does not matter. I just keep it in this order so everything's organized. And I'm just, I'm used to patching with fixture types in order. I know, MA people will often separate by universe for fixture types, or they'll do different pipes on different universes and all that. ONYX is a little weird, and it's actually very normal. MA is kind of weird for it. MA is smart for it though, but ONYX doesn't count parameters. It actually counts channels. So they license you 8 universes, which is basically, again, 4,096 channels, not parameters. So MA you can patch across as many universes as you'd like. Which is nice when you're dealing with big fixture counts and a lot of pipes. In ONYX, I've just gotten very used to patching things in clusters, and you'll kind of see that I'm just at the tail end of these universe. I have just about probably 50 channels left. Yeah, I have 52 channels open, 460 through 512. So what I might do day of is I'll allocate. If I add some front light for the DJ or something, which is unlikely for this type of event, I will put those just at the end of this first universe and just take another output and allocate that to the front light. And then what I can also do is I have a bunch of uplighting that takes wireless DMX. I can allocate universe 3 on the console to that stuff, but that I'm also not going to throw in the visualizer because uplights take a solid 4 seconds to get going. Whereas this stuff is all like club programming, which takes a little bit longer, as you will see. So that's it as far as capture goes. I'm gonna look at this. I mean, I have the freedom of doing this as much as I want, but I'm just gonna keep it down here for now because this is where I'll be seated live, and I just probably should get used to what this will look like. And with that, I'm going to open this into a full window and actually move. I'm gonna move this window to this screen. And then my this will just chill here, and this will just give me a full view of what I'm doing, which is always nice. So I'm actually going to break out my console, and I guess you can kind of see how that all works. I'm going to stop the video, and you'll see just kind of what breaking out the console looks like. Where are you? There you are. Let me get you back over here. So, me, not in log, so look a little bit, probably yellower. That's totally a word. And then console is in here. Little wings right here. It's missing a key. Sorry, Obsidian. it'd be like that. This is gonna live here. I don't need this anymore. Sometimes I'll program to music, but we're not quite there yet. I'll occasionally like run an effect to actual music just to see, you know, what it looks like in relation to it. But that's not the current priority. So here's my wing. Again, I'm missing my highlight key. I actually use highlight very little nowadays. I've gotten very used to doing groups and just having my intensity fader, which I'll show you for that type of stuff. It'll live there. The console lives in here. Let's see if she survived the road. I drove her up from Miami pretty recently. Yeah, she's doing all right. So power, I have a little adapter in here. Power, USB, all that. I will actually have to run a network cable to something, but I'm not quite there yet. I may as well take out the light because we like lights. I'm actually a big fan of lights. I did sign up for that job after all, with being the lights guy. This will live here. I have a big box of M&Ms on the floor. I don't know if you saw that, but thank you, Costco. You still alive? Yeah, you're alive. So light just goes in here. It's not plugged in, so it's probably not going to do a whole lot. But what is beautiful is this console has a true one plug, which is a waterproof connector. It's not waterproof because, I mean, it's a computer, a bunch of venting, but maybe one day it'll release a waterproof console that'll definitely not work because screens and water are not friends. If you have an Apple Watch or an iPhone and you use it underwater, you know that water and screens are not friends. I do have a Furman over here that this will steal some power from. And then all I'm doing back here right now is connecting my USB, which is how the NXK and main console will communicate. So there's just a couple USB ports on the back. Here's an image. And that's just how these two things are going to talk to each other. And here's my mouse in case anything weird happens or I have to relocate the camera. So here's the console turning on. It's really nothing super crazy. Light turns on first and then faders reset themselves. And she's off. There's my foot under there. I don't know if you're getting a little taste of that. But I will reposition the camera shortly. Just waiting for her to boot up. And you'll see the next thing I will have to do is I'll have to tie this into the house network, or some network that the computer and board will talk over, because the way that this actually communicates with the software is over a protocol called Streaming ACN, which is a network DMX protocol. Fixtures, well, as of recently, they do understand it, but all SACN is basically a way for DMX to be shoved into network packets. I think it's network packets. Someone can correct me if it's not network packets, because I know like AVB and stuff is not network packets. Anyways, let's press new show, and yes. Anyways, basically it's just a way for network devices that understand DMX to communicate. I'm basically just typing in grad party as my show file name, and okay. I'm doing nothing else before I show you exactly what I'm doing. So I'm going to get these two things linked up, and I'll show you how I have to do the whole network shebang to make this communicate, and then I'll be back in 2 seconds. I'm praying to God that this audio sounds decent, and I think this is the best that we're really going to get as far as you just seeing the whole console and seeing my pre-visualizer kind of the same way that I do. Couldn't really find a much better angle than this. So hopefully this is good. Hopefully you can see kind of everything that I'm doing. As far as, well actually no, I lied to you before. I said I wouldn't do anything on here. I did press this one square, which is how I got this to go from black to an actual window. And I'm actually going to create my own window shortly which I'll show you. And I did have to switch my network. Even in my settings, I had to go from E30MX to automatic, which is how it understood a router's leasing, as opposed to a E30MX node leasing, because with the E30MX nodes, they're all on like 2 point something, just because that's like ideal for whatever protocols they use. And then the automatic is just a DHCP automatic addressing for any standard network. So that's the only thing that I did so far to make the computer and console talk to each other. And in capture, I don't know if it's visible, because it just tells me that the two are talking to each other. And it's more than just SACN. They actually understand a little bit more about each other's patch, but I still have to manually patch the whole thing. So, step one, before I do anything else, is just I'm gonna focus on patch. I want to take you through that, just so you see kind of what's happening, and where, and just how that all goes. I want to make sure that this is like high resolution enough for you to really see what's going on. Yeah, I think it'll be fine. If any of you have questions about how to patch an ONYX, I can do a separate tutorial on that. But that's also available with their resources. It works the same on any on-PC version as it does on here. This is literally just a computer that's running the software. Well, in essence, don't get mad at me, Elation. So to patch, press the ONYX, go to patch. This rig has, I think, four fixture types that I can see. So what I'm going to do, remember I'm running across 2 universes. So I have to do this in a way that makes sense along those lines. So basically, automatically it'll go to universe 1 on the bottom here. I'm not gonna worry about that right now. I'm literally just gonna press new fixture. And then over here, this is where you navigate all your fixture types. So it'll default here. I'm going to press A, and I'm going to press this one 3 times. And that's where I'm going to find Chauvet DJ if I scroll down. I actually already had this selected. But to find this, otherwise, you start here. This is called an Intimidator Spot 375Z. So I'm going to just press that 3 times to get to I, scroll down until I find spots, and then I'll go to 375Z IRC, 15 channel mode. And I have 8 of these. So I'm going to patch them just into Universe 1 for now. And you'll see kind of what I do to make that work. So see how it says Universe 1 down here? So now what I'm going to do, press Universe 2, and I'm going to just set these bottom 4. I'll swipe the addresses, and I'll do address 1, and that'll now jump to Universe 2, address 1. And then see that the 2 actually mirror. So that one is that one, and they all know kind of what's going on now. The next thing I'm going to do is hunt out my SlimPARs, and I'm actually going to patch 16 of these and then handle addresses and all of that later on, just like I did with the spots. So Chauvet DJ, and then I'll go to SlimPAR, which will be in the S category. So 64, 7 channel mode. I'm using 16 in this rig. Same thing, I'm going to Universe 1 for now. There we go, there's my channels. And again, this is not actually what's going on in the patch, but you'll see once, so some stuff's going to start doing more than it needs to, but that's okay. So what I'm going to do now is make sure that stuff is where I need it. I'm also going to ID some fixtures after all of this. So these 6, so it's going to be 9 through 15. Are going, well, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so 15 and 16. So it's gonna be 6. So it's gonna be 6 of these are going to Universe 2 now, at the same address as 9. So it's gonna be address 61. And that'll be Universe 2 61, or Universe 2 channel 61, right? So those should be what? Oh wait, hold on. Might just have to try that one more time. Oh, I see what happened. That was IDs, not universe. So we'll catch. You gotta swipe the right number to make it do what you want it to do. All right, now they're in Universe 261, and then I have these at 161. So I have 6 here, right? I'm going to drop these 2. Or, let's see where these are supposed to live. These are these 2. So these will be 103 in universe 1. And universe 2, same thing for these 2. These will exist at 103 as well. There we go. So now all of those are patched. As far as IDs go, I'm going to start just addressing these things. So 101 is going to be spots. Basically every fixture type is going to have their own bank. 201 is going to be all my SlimPAR-esque things. So that's actually all of these. So 201. This is just for mental sake. So you'll see 101 through 108 is my 8 spots. 201 through 216 will be my 16 SlimPARs. I think you get the idea. And then now we're jumping to the what's next. And I have the Wash FX. So these will be down here. Wash FX 2, 28 channel mode, virtual dimmer on, because I'm going to be doing the pixel effects, and it just helps a ton to have virtual dimmer. I have 4 of these. Again, as always, I'm going to toss them into universe 1. Actually, at address 117, it looks like. Yep. Apply to patch. That I actually don't need, so I will drop these last 2 into. So check this out. So universe 2 at 117. There we go. Remember, so the patch is literally just a bunch of duplicates because it's 2 universes. Last thing for PiX. So these exist at 173. It looks like. And these I actually will do separate, just because. So these are actually called color band PiX. And I have ILS fixtures, but I'm 90% sure that it does not make a difference, and that the profiles are the same. Yeah, so the actual profiles of these things are identical. I'm just confirming. Yeah, looks right. So 41 channel mode. These will also be 41 channel mode. Yeah, because the ILS is actually nothing new, but the fixture is just, it has the ILS integration. That's actually not a reason we bought them. We bought them just because they were the new thing on the market. They also had 5-pin DMX, which is nice for us because we're generally working with pro grade fixture. Yeah, pro grade fixtures. Sorry, Doug. It was not speakers this time. So virtual dimmer on, same thing. That just gives me intensity control per pixel. These are multi-instance. Auto patch. So I'm doing 8, actually 7 per universe. So universe 1 will get some of these. Metal patch. Close. And then same thing. In universe 2. So I'm going to ID the Wash FX as 300s, so 301, and then I'm going to ID all of the PiX as my 400s, so 401. Great, and then you'll see what that does is it actually reflects those in my fixture picker. Make sure audio is still working. And this battery's old. Yeah, she's rocking. She's kicking. Sweet. I actually don't know why this one's selected. Actually, I do know why it's selected. I don't need to select anymore. Great, so that's everything. And you can see now that if I highlight a fixture, it actually should. Ooh, why is it not doing it? Okay, so I was having some issues just now with scanning ACN. Basically, scanning ACN was wanting to do a little bit more than I wanted it to do. So what I did is I just switched it to an ArtNet read, which is fine for this size show. It's not ideal, but I'll diagnose why that was happening later. Now that it's working correctly now, which is all I care about. So now I'm going to actually begin not really the programming side yet. I have to first actually set up my programming windows. And I think some of you might find this useful because everyone has kind of their own way of doing things, and I certainly have my own way of doing things. So what I do, or what anyone has to do to make their own workspace is first you press Manage Workspaces, then you press Add. Now I'm just trying to call it Workspace. So right now nothing exists in here. Screen 1, I'm going to do a new empty screen, and this is where I'm going to be assigning fixtures to groups. So what I'm going to want is a fixture panel. So just fixtures and then a groups panel. I know this seems kind of restrictive, but that's kind of the point. You'll see where this plays in a little later. I'm going to give myself 10 and then auto for rows, which is fine. And then groups, I have 10, that's all good. The important thing is that I stay consistent. If I have 10 in one window, I want 10 in the next, because it all scales. And if I set up, group 7, 17, 27 as the same fixtures, then I have 12 across or 15 across the next thing. It's going to start making different diagonals, different faces, essentially, of fixtures on the plane, and that's just messy. That's not the whole point of this is to keep it organized. So that's all for that. So that's fixtures, groups. And then the next thing, I'm going to do a preset maker. So this will be groups and presets. And this will be all of it built into one, so 10 across and 10 of that, which is fine. And this will be just my base presets. There will be more that comes later. But I don't also know how much I'm going to be doing in previs for this. You'll see that I'm mainly setting intensity presets. I'm doing pan tilt presets, which will change later, but you'll see how I link that between presets and cues. And then just color, basic things, basic combos. And you'll see how that all actually updates, because I'm going to embed presets into other things. And then later on, I'm going to start here, and then later on I'm going to build more views. As I need more options. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to just group together my just all of my spots in order. Ooh. You know what? I'm actually going to highlight this so you can see it. So the first thing I'm going to do with highlight is I'm going to just group all of my spots together in sequence and see how they're illuminating the same way that I patched them. That's the whole idea there, right? So this group 1 is going to be spots. I'm going to name it later. I know how I organize things. And then the other thing that I'll know is I'm going to need a couple modifiers. So I'm going to need a modifier that's a block of 4, because I'm going to need both my sides as separate groups. And that's one cool thing about ONYX. You have these modifiers that can do things with sequences. Right, so there's my first modifier. I'm going to have these blocks of 4. There'll be spot blocks of 4, and that'll just exist right beneath there. The next thing I'm going to have is I just do it by selecting my group, grouping every 2. Then I'm going to have these alternating ones. These are literally even odds, which I'll use for different effects later on. And then I think that's kind of all I need for now. There's probably a mirror that I can use. Yeah, mirroring 2. I can do a couple things. I might use that for, you know what, I may as well record it. It can be useful. So now what I can do is I can go to any of these, and I can just next through them, and that'll give me whatever pair that I need. Great, that's spots. SlimPARs here, and the more I get into these higher fixture count things, the more creative I can get. And you'll see what I mean in a second. So SlimPARs, I'm first just going to group them very basically. So same thing, just in a line. Right, same as, oh actually, wait. Did I not? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I know why that is. Okay, sweet. So these are going to be my pars. And I'm going to do another every 2. I'm going to actually align these so it's all organized. So every 2 is down there. My blocks are going to be of 6 because I have 6 per side, right? I'm going to do some symmetrical effects. So a block of 6. And then I'll do another mirror. See, these are where you get kind of these other neat things. So see, I have these. So I'll definitely be using that later on. Great. So let's do Wash FX next. And these are multi-instance, so I'm going to need a main. So I'll have my main up here. And then I'll have my pixels. So these are all going to be in linear order. So I just select them like this. There are auto groups. I just like doing this by hand so I know exactly how they're set up. I definitely don't know exactly what I'm doing for grouping for these yet because they are kind of an accessory fixture in this size rig. Sometimes I'll have fixtures or rigs where I'll just have like 4 of these in 2 spots. So I'll do a lot more with them. I'm sure I'm going to have probably a mirror effect built in where I will... highlight, that's why. I'll show you why that happened later. That's not important for now. And again, naming I'm going to do later as well. I just know how I organize this, so we'll get to that later. Okay, so now these are going to be annoying because there's a lot of them, so let me just speed this up. I'm going to do masters first, and then I'm going to do pixels. Okay, so that I'm just going to record this as a side, and then I'll do the other side and then group them, because that's the vibe I'm feeling for this. So what you'll see now is I now have the masters, and then I have this one side and this other side. And I don't know exactly how I'm going to group those either yet. I'm sure that I'm going to have some effects where I have them bouncing between side and side, but I'm just not there yet. So that's groups. That's most of what I need to get started. So I'm gonna get started with the basic stuff now. So I will actually name them. So this will be spots. This will be pars. Actually, I still have to do my truss warmers. This is Wash FX. This is PiX. I have to make sure this is PiX masters. And this should also be Wash masters. And labeling is always something worth taking a little time to do. This is Wash pixels. And this is PiX pixels A and PiX pixels B. And that's just so I know everything, and then again these groups just correlate, so great. So I know what's what. Again, if I go to select these, I know that these are the sides, and you know these will be the whatever. Yeah. Anyways, so there's that. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to give myself a intensity. I'm going to give myself masters here. So these 4. Let me not forget one thing. And these might change in the live rig, but that's okay. Remember, these are my truss warmers. That's super important. Truss warmers. It says truss warmers, but I think I get the idea. Now I'm going to do block of 2, and that'll be my sides. Great. Let's make sure, yeah, great. So those are. Alrighty, so the first thing I'm going to do is spots. Take highlight off because that's not going to help me. And I'm going to at full, record, and then I'm going to press this first button here. I'll call this spots on the screen. I should actually really connect my external keyboard while I'm at home. But now I have a submaster, so I can actually control the brightness of these spots. And I'll show you what I do with these submasters after, but the submasters are basically the most basic level of programming as far as anything I'm actually going to use in the show goes. They're good to have because I will do things where I want a hard intensity control. Nothing in the software will make these less bright, less intense than the submaster. The submaster is the bottom value that the lights can be at. It's like a hard limiter, but at the bottom. So I'm going to do the same thing for PARs. There's no real science to how I order these. Just really on what I use the most. And this is just kind of the order that I go. I'm sure I'm going to do a lot with PARs. So now I have these. See? So I have those. And then I'm going to have my wash masters and my wash pixels at full. That's important because if an effect brings the pixels down, then I won't have them at full. If the effect has the masters down, then I won't have them at full, etc. I'm just going to do that again. So both at full. Great. So record, wash, effects. Whoa. And PiX masters, PiX-ILS, both at full. So I'll have my PiX. I don't know why it's... Anyways. I'll have my transformers as well. Remember, these are the smallest, they're closest to the right. Let's call this truss. Awesome. So I have my spots, PARs, PiX, or no, wash, PiX. Let me just make sure everything's lighting up how it should. Yes, all of that. And then my wash, or no, my truss. I am so into this mentally. Great. So now we're in a good point. So the first thing I'm going to do is, and this is an effect I'm going to use a lot, the whole show, is now I'm going to jump to my presets. I don't need groups for a while. Is my bumps. So default, these are going to be flash buttons. So if you hold it, it's on. If you release it, it's off. Right? So I will use those, but these are currently select buttons. I'm not going to use select buttons. I'm going to use these a couple times for some like something like that, right? Looks cool. Wow. Okay, but it can actually look cooler. I'm going to go to this little settings tab. I'm going to go to the function assignments, and then this one is going to also be a flash and be a timed flash. And the decay I'm going to bring out to about ½ a second, which can be a pain. Or let's do, we'll do 0.3 and see how that looks. So this is a hard flash. Now this is a bump, right? And now I held it and it just goes out, and it's timed and all that. I'm actually gonna make them a little bit longer because I keep getting more and more patient and liking a longer fade out. So I'm gonna do 0.4, yeah, like that. That's 0.44 second. Same thing for the PARs. I'm gonna have my flash up, nothing. Flash timings. My decay will be. Just got a spammer. You gotta not do that. Same thing, about 0.4. So flash. Yes. 0.42. That's fine. Function assignments. Flash. Yes. Same dealio. Try to get as close as I can without it getting angry. Okay, 0.45. And then, I'm already in this window. And then, yes, and flash, not flash out, flash. So cool, so now I have all my hard flashes, and I have all my fade flashes, right? And these I will use constantly throughout the night. The the next thing that I want to program is a strobe toggle, and you'll see how this is 2 steps. There is a way to do it that is 1 step. I'm just not going to do it that way because I don't want to, and it will come in handy later. So every fixture can generally strobe up to about 20 to 30 hertz. There's always a sweet spot, and this is something that I'll adjust live, like when I get there, which is why I'm doing it this way. So spots in the visualizer, you know, my screen is 120 hertz or whatever it is, and blah, 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 but I don't know what this is really going to look like. Well, I know a little bit because I've been doing this for a while, but my shutter, I just want to keep like kind of at that 3/4 mark, because now what's going to happen is the shutter is, or I can actually use this wheel a little bit, but see how they're like kind of strobing? Yeah, well, the software is not going to reflect it how it's actually going to strobe. Generally it looks faster in the software than it actually will, but I know the sweet spot is right around that 3/4 mark. What this is going to be is a toggle. So all I'm doing is I'm finding the sweet spot of the shutter for all of these fixtures. So my next thing is the pars. So I'm going to find, there's 1 hertz. I'm going to find, again, kind of a sweet spot. That should be fine. I'm actually going a little bit higher because these don't strobe as fast as the rest of the things. The wash master is what's going to contain that strobe parameter. The pixels don't. They literally just have, like, all the pixels know is RGB. The virtual dimmer is what gives me an actual intensity control, which is why I like it, because you can actually do like chases with intensity instead of just, you know, manipulating your color values. So there's my pars. Then the wash, I'll give myself, again, like kind of just around here, right? A 3/4-ish mark again. And then my PiX masters, same deal. I'm being careful to not adjust other parameters while I'm doing all this, because that won't end well. These are going to go around there. This is a dimmer mode, which will basically give me like a nice fade. For this type of show, I'm not going to bother with that. I've done some like music artist shows that I'll use the dimmer for to give myself a more smooth dim, but this is, I mean, this is a club. This is not what that's for. So, yeah, so this is the truss warmers. These are also the SlimPARs. So I'm going to give myself whatever kind of the fastest-ish is with that. So what I'm going to do is record these as my strobe setting. So basically, this won't do anything unless it's activated as a parameter. So as is, these are just doing whatever they're doing. But as soon as I press strobe, everything starts strobing. And also, I can just make individual things strobe. So I can do that, like the pars like won't strobe. And you'll see kind of how I use this now is I'm gonna activate it as a parameter. So when I click this, it activates to everything that it's assigned to. And then I'm gonna record it as an override down to 10, which is this one. Strobe toggle. It's not really a toggle; it's more of a press and hold. But that's a separate issue. I'll get into why that is later. And basically, what happens now, I don't know if it uses the right. Let's do flash activate, which will basically just take it up to 100 and activate it. So, from down here, I press it. Why are you not working? There we go. I'm sure it's hilarious watching me. I was using the totally incorrect playback for this, wasn't I? Or, no, I wasn't. It's this one. Yeah, but why are you not... Alright, well, for now, you're gonna live over here because I actually need you. So you're gonna live there. Actually, no, you're gonna live on 10. So basically what happens here, if I press this and hold it, then stuff starts strobing. And I'll use this if I'm doing, especially like bumps, I'll hold this, nothing's gonna happen, and as soon as I bump something, I can do like all this type of stuff where it's like flashing, right? So that's where like my effects really start coming in. And I can do like I can do whatever I want to do here, and as soon as I want strobing, I can just hold that. And again, that's supposed to exist here, but this button doesn't want to cooperate. Next thing I need to do, set some masters so I can do some other effect programming. Remember, this is all stuff that I don't want to do when I'm on site. I think you see why. weird stuff happens. So the spots, I just know this by heart at this point. For pan tilt effects, I'll set my Speedmaster to about yeah, I'll do like 80, I'll do 50%. Well, actually 45% for this. It was a small space. So that's all that is speed. So I'm setting a Speedmaster, and that doesn't need to be recorded as a preset because I literally am putting it at one spot this entire show. So it's gonna be, let's press record. I'm gonna set it to 17 for now. Did I inverse these things? I might have. That's okay. So this is gonna be PT speed. Great. Wonderful. So what's going to happen now, if I look at my spot system thingy, if I look at my spot group, what this is now going to do is control my actual effect speed. And that's the only thing it's doing. So it's not controlling intensity, it's not controlling my actual pan like tilt effects. That'll be presets that set them to a certain value. But it's just going to control my speed of those fixtures. Those are the only moving fixtures in this rig too. For other things, I might have this linked to two types. If I had moving washes and moving spots, I could have that control both of the speeds. Traditionally, I'm not a person that needs like two Speedmasters for two types of movers because if stuff is moving slow, stuff's moving slow, and if stuff is whipping around the room, then stuff is whipping around the room. So I'll just have one Speedmaster for all my movers. That is not necessarily true for intensity effects, but for this case scenario, my intensity effects are only going to correlate to pulse effects. So the next thing I'm going to do is make a intensity effect, or I have to make sure output selected, that's important. So it's intensity output effects Speedmaster. So I'm going to go up to 113 BPM, which is 60% on the thing. And that will be universal. So every fixture type, these are the same, that's why I'm doing both at once. Intensity output effects, the speed will be 60%. And I'm just, you'll see why I'm doing that kind of soon. So output. If you do shutter, then you're gonna start like affecting your shutter value, which is just not. I've done that before, built like a whole show with it and been like, wait, why is that happening? And that's why it's happening. You have like a waveform of your shutter value going, which is just that's not what you want. So remember, it's a intensity output effects, and then same thing, 60%. Generally intensity things are pretty uniform, so Okay, great. So same thing. These don't have a shutter, anyways. Speed 60. And if any MA guys that are watching this, you know why MA is kind of nice in this regard, because you can just select a Speedmaster and then set fader to Speedmaster, and you're off to the game. But this is how you do it in ONYX, or at least the way I do it in ONYX. There are multiple ways of doing it, but this is my favorite way. So intensity output effects, same thing, 60%. And then my pixels, I will do the same one last time. Great. I'm recording this as my int FX speed. And this will be for things like any slow pulses that I have. That'll control that. Any fast pulses, like my, you'll see like my what's it called? My mid-wave or whatever. That will have a built-in speed value that will be higher than this. So it's going to override this no matter where this is. Because remember how I set them to 113 BPM? So if I build in a higher value than that, that will take precedence. It's just how the software thinks, which also helps me a little bit. And if I need something faster, controllable like this, I actually have a multiplier that I can build into effects. So certain effects, like single pixel pulse waves, where like I have 150 pixels and they're all doing a thing, I might have to do that like 4 times quicker. Like I'll have like a 4 times multiplier on there, just because the waveform is so stretched out across so many things as opposed to like 8 fixtures. Anyways, I'll show you what that all means later as well. And then I guess the last thing I can do in intensity for now, before I build effects, is give everything. Actually, I don't really use that personally. A lot of people will build like a full value. Like I don't really use that. I just do that full if I need. So there we go. That's kind of all for now. And then I will start building a color palette shortly. I'm gonna do just some basic pan tilt stuff because like the Intimidators, I know again just by using them for however long that they will need a slight offset because that's how they think. So they need to be around 33%. I normally just touch 34 to set them at a 90. And then I'm going to call my home position. This is my tilt value. I'm going to set my home value just essentially right in the middle of the dance floor, just like that. And then I'm going to make a fan value as I progress from there. But this is going to be just my home value. That'll be PT1. It's pan tilt 1. There's my feet. So now what I'm going to do is, see this block, where I recorded that block before? So what I'm going to do is pan, fan, and now I can spread out this, or actually I'm going to spread it in, make a center point, and then next, and then same thing there. So now I have my blocks forming. I'm actually going to do one more thing. I'm going to tilt this up a little bit, just so it's in the center, and then same thing next here. Same idea, just center it right there. Great, and that will be updated live. I'll just bring this in, there we go. So it's just a nice tight little like center of the dance floor thing. Again, that's the type of thing that we update live. That's also when I have like my zooms and stuff set, so it'll be center. That's all I need for now. I might, later on, I'm sure I'll have some, what's it called? I'll have like a, this like some of these programmed. I can kind of do that now. I'll have like a ceiling type of thing programmed. I'll just have that there. And that's kind of it. I'll have like different crosses and whatnot, but that's not a now thing. That's an on-site thing. Great. The next thing I'm going to do is my zoom, beam, all those types of things. So first I'm going to do beam because that's going to be my zoom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a narrow. I'll just live there. I'll have a middle. And then I'll have a wide. Great. And then I'm going to have well, I might have that programmed eventually, but that's not a now thing either. Gobo, I'm going to do, well, it actually auto changes. If you do different presets, it'll update the pool. The next thing I'm going to do is Gobos. ONYX, a lot of the most fixtures that are not like straight from China will have these fixtures properly loaded, like the gobos properly loaded into the software, so you know what you're working with. This is also from experience. I know what I like to work with as far as gobos go. Some look very just DJ-y, and these are DJ fixtures, like undoubtedly. The thing that I have to do is then make it look professional. And that's where I'm going to start layering different pieces of glass to make that all work. But I know I'll occasionally use this pink one. So I'm going to record my pink one. I will occasionally use this dots, which is a good aerial effect. And then I will occasionally use these bigger, larger dots as another aerial effect. And I think maybe once or twice I'll use a flower as a projection. I think. Oh, actually, you know what I'm actually going to do? I'm going to swap these because these are all in order. I don't want to, because what will happen is like when you go to one and another, it'll rotate like super quick, which is just not my favorite look. So these rotate nicely, just in the same direction. Great. Next thing will be, where's my prism? I thought it was in there. Yeah. Wait, is it? It should be. Yeah, I'm going to record my prism in next, because that's just one more thing to do. Alright, so I have... Yeah, okay, so I kind of know, again, just from experience, that the prism, I'm not going to use it static. I also don't use the 5-facet prism. I'm just not a big linear prism guy. And sometimes too many options doesn't help. The visualizer always respects these speeds a lot slower than they actually are. A lot of these, especially the lower end fixtures, like the prisms will whip at unnecessarily quick speeds for no good reason. So I'll just keep them kind of at like the 1/8 kind of mark on that little scrolly. Are you still recording? You are still recording. So there we go. There's the prism. Cool. So I'll have prism in, and then no prism recorded. Right. So now what I can do now is I can layer my prism. I can zoom out, and then I can bring in a gobo, and there's an aerial effect, right? And the last thing I'll have to do is focus it. This will also be set on site, but traditionally, I think I don't know if it's 100 or, yeah, it's normally like 100 for these lower end fixtures where they're most in focus. Again, that'll set in site, but just for now, so I have something, it'll be there. And that'll also get recorded into my default queue, which just won't change throughout the night. That'll just be there to give me a home position. You know what? Let me show you that right now. Sorry. Let me show you that right now because that's important. So and this might not be a permanent page. This always changes a little bit, but I'm going to make just a new empty screen. I don't know exactly what'll live up here yet. Actually, I'm going to do fixture center, and then I'm going to do a couple pools down here of a playback buttons and some effects. And again, this is probably going to change later. This is just for now, like always. But this will be like the base of my playback window. So the first thing I'm going to do is lock my workspace, clear out that, and here's where stuff starts actually playing in. So my pan tilt, I'm going to have my home position set. So as soon as I fire up the rig, I'm going to fire up one cue, and everything's going to home, focus, and be whatever I want, just for base programming, right? Because when you clear out the programmer, you're clearing out your presets, but when you're not clearing out your active cues. So it's nice to always have one cue that's always active, unless you have other cues taking precedence. But this will be like, again, just my home, my where are you? There you are, focus. And so it'll default to no prism, which is that one, and default, well, to, I guess, middle, I guess. And I can build this queue as much as I need, and this will just be called my home queue. And then that'll also do things like colors of other parts of the rig. But see, now when I trigger this, it'll have a fade time because I just recorded it without thinking about it. You can set that to 0, but I also don't care. I will do that later on when I'm recording a lot more cues for a lot more things. But there we go. There's my home queue. So I can clear out now, and they will actually stay there. And I can just show you for reference what I'm working with now. So now I have the ability to layer. So I can now do wide. I can add in my prism, and then I can add in a gobo, and there we go. There's a cool look, right? And now everything's moving a little bit. Wondrous. Great. So I'm in a good spot, and that's I'm letting you know now. That's a lot of what the pre-process is. I'm gonna do a couple more things that I will be doing at one point or another that doesn't really change rig to rig, which again will be like my color palette and some things like that. I know how to, again, I've been working with the same fixtures for like 5 years, so I know what orange in here actually looks like on their fixture. So let me just build that out a little bit. Because my colors are pretty basic. It's a pretty dry rainbow, and then I'll have some modifiers in there. So spots, I'll show you. I'm going to leave gaps. I'm going to start with the color wheel because these are color wheel. So white will always be my first one, and then I build in the order of the rainbow. Why are you that color? Okay, I'm gonna build from a red to, from a red to blue spectrum. So first is red, and I don't need that many colors for this either, because again, this is not like a music thing where I'm matching like a little bit different amber to a little bit different green. This is not that. So I'm gonna have red. I'm gonna have an orange. I'm gonna have a there's a yellow, they have a lime in here somewhere. Yeah, they have this. They have green. And then for whatever reason they don't have a cyan. I wish they had a cyan in this fixture. But they don't. Oh well. So I'm gonna leave room for an aqua, and then I'm gonna leave room for an off magenta, and then magenta will be my last for that chain. So now I have the whole color wheel mapped out on a linear kind of thing. Great. So now my parts, I'm gonna kind of match those colors. Again, I kind of know what they look like, and these can be the same because they are the same fixture type. There's different groups. So, and what an ONYX gives you this thing. I don't use it a ton because I'm very used to not working with it. But so here's red. So remember, whatever I do in here is going to respect on there. So there's, red. The only problem is it gets in the way. So actually, maybe it doesn't. You might have fixed that. Well, there's white. All values up. Here's kind of an orange. You have to make it a little bit deeper in the software than you'd think. Like that is probably gonna be like my real orange. Wait, that's supposed to be, oh no, that's fine. Wait. So there's my yellow. I think yellow's around there. And these are things that I'll update live. And then green, I have lime. I don't know why they have so many greens, to be honest. They just do, I guess. And then green. And here I'm going to record a kind of sea aqua color. Kind of almost a, yeah, I'm going to record like that, which is like a lighter blue. Where are you? There you are. So lighter blue right there. And then now I'm going to record my deep blue. Or actually I'm going to record like a little bit of an off blue. I don't like the deep blue. I don't really use it. So that'll be my spot match blue. And then I'm going to record a purpley color. And then I'm going to record my magenta. And then I actually might record a auxiliary color. So like I like this. I call it candy red. It has a little bit of blue or a little blue in there. It'll just chill there. Actually, I'm gonna move it here. Normally my color palette is 15. Again, this is club. It's a little bit different. But there's my rainbow, so I have all of that, and you can see now if I have my spots up as well. All my colors are. What are you doing? Okay, my colors kind of are the same on all of them to some degree. Yeah, I've done this enough times that I just kind of know what works and what doesn't. Remember, these two, the spots don't. Wait, no, these two. What are you doing? Those two, the spots don't have data for, or that and that. Yeah, there we go. So they don't have data for this off blue and this off magenta or purple or whatever. All right, so Wash FX, same deal. The color data's in the actual pixels. I'm not actually going to use UV except for standalone effects because, again, just not that type of thing. The color doesn't have to be super deep for this. Cool. So start with 0 UV and then red. Orange. Yellow. Lemon. No, actually, lemon's yellow. That's just me being dumb. There's my green. There's my little cyan-y thingy. Here's my matching blue. Here's my purple-y thingy. And here's magenta. And then here's candy red. Candy red actually we'll use quite a bit. And then here's white. Actually, I think the normal thing I did, I'll offset white, so I'm a little bit messy today. That's okay. I haven't done this in a little bit, but that's all right. Last thing's the PiX, so the color data's in there. Same old. PiX will come in. I don't really need these or that. It doesn't really matter. Also, these move. It's kind of cool. Anyways, red, orange. That could very well be way too amber in person. That's okay. Again, this will all change live. Green. Wait, that's not supposed to be. This is supposed to be lime. And I promise you, for this show, I will not touch lime, but it's just there because it's there. And cyan. Where are you? Cyan. Matching blue. Purple. Magenta. And candy. Great. So again, just going through the whole thing. So if I have everything on, and I don't have to select them for this because it's the whole rig, everything will just jump to the same color now, as long as there is data for those presets. So yeah. There's my color picker. A whole lot doesn't happen until I'm on site and being picky. What I will do is I'll probably set up some alternate groups where I can select like one half of the rig in a kind of specified out way, and then just set that to like blue or whatever that color is, and I can select the other half and select like red. I can make like color combos doing that. So actually, I can kind of show you what that means as well. Let's say I want the entire like left half of the rig, like one color. I can just select all these like these groups that I made, set like that half to red. Why did that not work? That was embarrassing. You get the idea though. What is red? I don't know. Anyways, so that's a thing. That's a lot of the work out of the way. Most of what happens now is I pick things with a lot of time on my hands. Focus, whatever, I can make cool looks now. I will also actually set up some of my pan tilt effects because that needs to happen, and then that'll delay and be like, why do I not have any pan tilt effects built, and all that. But I will be back in a second. Okay, so we are back with socks now and a fresh battery in the camera. So this is the part of the programming process where I place a McDonald's order because I'm hungry. I didn't eat dinner, and it's also 10:26 p.m. So first that'll happen. So the OG is the deluxe quarter pounder. Not the meal. I don't like fries. Actually, it's not true. I sometimes do. Wonderful. Okay, so we're back. This would also be a very good time to mention that the type of programming that I do for these generally EDM events is called busking. Busking just refers to all my looks and all my effects, well, not my effects, all my looks and anything that's like flashing will happen live. Like I'm not building these things beforehand. I'm building myself palettes to choose from live, and I'm choosing color combos, I'm choosing, movement effects, and I'm choosing how they all link together live, but I also have them built into palettes so I can choose from them. I'm not like working from like raw parameters. Some people do that. I don't do that. It's all down to choice. The next step up from that is programming stuff by song. Where this is also a 6-hour DJ event, and I'm not. Nobody knows what he's gonna play. He doesn't know what he's gonna play yet. So there's no real reason to do that. And also most of what people like, I also listen to. So I'll know kind of what happens when along the course of a song. I'm also a musician, so I kind of know how song structure and beats and stuff work. In any case, I'm at a point where I can start actually getting creative. That's my pools. My pools are pretty much done, but I'm going to start building again effects now, showing you how I make these effects that I like to refer to as random, as well as how to make these symmetric effects. So yeah, let's do that. The first thing will be my pan tilt effect. So I want to give myself some intensity there. Again, like I could highlight them, but I prefer this. So I'm going to keep them there, and I'm going to just have my speed up, right? So the first one's just going to be a pan effect. So I'm going to swing my pan out, you know, like yonder. I'm very picky about how far my movement effects go. I'm not putting stuff on ceilings, not putting stuff on walls. You know, I like it to be where it's supposed to be. So I'll give it like a little more range. That'll be fine. And then for my pan effect, it will be a line. That's all I need. Great. And then that'll be tilt 0. That will be my pan effect. Actually, no, it won't. I'm not done. Actually, no, I am done. Yeah, I'm done. Pan. This is pan. Cool. Exact same thing. Tilt. And these actually will have a bigger range because the pan, like 13% of the pan range is actually double 13% of the tilt range because it's double the range. Tilt is like 200 degrees. Pan is like 400. It goes like around and then like a little, like it's like around and then some. So I'll give these again. I mean, a little more than that. So I'll do like that type of thing, like right before it goes straight. Yeah, McDonald's is preparing my order. That sounds wonderful. I'll do actually like just a tad. Again, I'm picky, but it's every ounce of what I do is worth it in the end. Great, so tilt. Now I'll build my circle. Right, so I'm going to set these to a circle. I'm not worried about them going in weird directions. That's all going to happen next. And when I actually build the cues that these things are going to operate under, that's when I actually start making things come to life. There we go. So there's a circle. That's like kind of all I need to get started. And I'm going to work from here for now. So first I'm going to experiment, then I'm going to start recording stuff. I'm just going to think about the values. So here's pan. Now I'm going to focus on effects timing and modes. So for pan, I'm going to want, actually mode I'm not going to worry about yet. I'm going to do just effects timing. So the wave is again like kind of a phase wave. So see how those are moving in sequence? Well, that's how a wave works, right? So there's a waveform and it's traveling across these 8 fixtures, and there's a wave of 2. So every 2 fixtures it receives the same wave. And then it is the opposite wherever else. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the amount to 8. But I don't like that look because it looks funky. I like other stuff. The first thing I'm going to try is random. I got a grouping. I press random, and I'm going to apply that 8 again. Okay, that's still a little bit weird. Let's spam the random button because that's how computers work, and press 8 again. Okay, that's not horrible, but they're all kind of going in the same direction now. Remember, I'm picky. I'm going to try one more time, and if I don't like that, then we'll try something else. Yeah, that's probably fine. Yeah, that's fine. Cool. Actually, you know what? I actually will record all of this as my pan effect because I'm thinking about it. I'm not actually going to use anything else for pan. I don't think, unless I have like a symmetric one, but I'm just not going to use that. Great. So now I'm moving on to my tilt effect. This one I get really, really picky about because it's more visible what each one's doing. That's actually probably fine. I was like, I'm really thinking about this, but I mean but these are kind of cool when they're all in, you know. But let me, I don't know, I might not show you that yet. Nah, I'm gonna try something else. I'm gonna do random again. Try mount. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, there's my tilt. Remember, as soon as I recall these things, those parameters are getting recalled. So anything that's recorded into each one is isolated, separate. And again, people can build these. What I was going to do originally is build these as separate things, so my effects timing will be separate from my effects. But I realize, again, for this type of event, I'm not actually going to change it that much, and the more that's there, the more I'm going to get confused. Circle, I might have a couple variations of. Like, that looks cool. I think that's actually, yeah, it is. Okay. That's kind of cool, but I just want to make sure I have everything recorded and active. Yeah, that should be fine, actually. Just make sure it looks cool from like both sides. Nah, I'm getting picky. Let's group it again. Yeah, that'll do. And then here's the other thing. So I will occasionally make, so now I'm back in order. I will make some that are much more sequenced out like this, because they look more robotic, which is sometimes what you actually go for. Actually, I don't like that. Again, I get picky with these. Okay, for now I have those effects built. That's going to get me to a point, right? Okay, there's my roof. So let's just see what these look like. Because I know I'm going to use that quite a bit. So I'm already somewhere useful. I'm already somewhere I can operate from. You know, like it's pretty quick once you get going. Move this here actually. Move this. Move this. Center the dance floor. Yeah, I mean, again, not a whole lot's going on there. I have these basic effects built. There's my tilt, there's my pan, there's my circle. And I actually, because of this kind of architecture of the rig, I actually will build one more type of effect, which I don't normally do, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to build a more complex wave, which will just be one of these. Like, they get more crazy as you go down the figure column. So I'm going to build like one slightly crazier shape, just something kind of fun looking. Because like these, you know, I don't know. Someone programmed these at some point with some computer. It's just kind of neat, you know. It does what it does. Yeah, I mean, I like that. Actually, no, I don't. Wait, I'm being picky again. That's fine. I'm going to break embedded resources because I want this to be independent. So this is actually going to live over there. The circle will be there. And then that, I know that's an accessory motion. My primary motions are pan, tilt, and circle. And then I'll also record a kill, which is just pan, tilt, effects, and this will be stop and stop. So, not stop and shop. Make sure you don't get confused with that. Stop and shop is, I enjoy stop and shop personally, but not in this context. So see what happens there is it's just going to kill the actual swing value, so I won't get any swing. Cool. That's the bulk of the pan tilt pool. I will have to, I'm actually going to move this here because when this reflects over here, see how it like layers? So I know my positions are there, and then my pan tilt motions are there. And then I can stop it there, right? Awesome. And this will actually, my kills are always in the bottom, so let me just do that. Awesome. So, I guess we can start with some effects, like intensity effects. I'm going to first do bumps, I think. Because want to. I'm so confused why these are not doing what they're supposed to do. Oh wait, why is that working now? Actually, I have one reason that might be working. I'm gonna flip these all because this is literally backwards. Okay, there we go. So now you can see this kind of thing where I have my intensity. I can make them strobe just by holding this button down. I like to have it kind of just out of the way over here. So I'm going to build a couple things that I'm also going to use throughout the event. I know that I have these, so these wash effects are kind of an accessory, but two things that I know they're going to be used for. Wow, that was a very quick delivery time. Wait, so when does it say it's going to be here? Jeez, that was impressively quick. 10:49. Okay, I have a couple minutes. So the first thing I'm going to build, I know that the two things I want to build here are a blinder and a strobe, like, increase thing. Because I know, yeah, I can build strobes with all the multi-instance and pixel fixtures and RGB fixtures and stuff, but I know I'm also going to want just a dedicated wash strobe, because they kind of look like strobes. So what I'm going to do is, it'll be a white effect, so it's going to be color 1. And then I'm going to have, see, remember the strobe value? Oh, did I not sell? Oh, no, I did sell one. It's just masters. So we're going to be strobing. And the intensity will also be at full. So I don't need this anymore. And this will be a override. So check this out. So it has color value, intensity value, and, well, it's kind of it. It has shutter, intensity, and color, and that's what makes the strobe the strobe. So this will exist here as strobe build and an override. And see, so now it'll like build into just a full, I don't know why the color's fading, that's okay, I don't really care for this. So wash masters here will be, this will be my blinder, wash pixels at full. And then my pixels will actually, I'm going to make a CTO color here, which will be basically an amber that I just let a little more wash into, just kind of like that, just like a nice little off CTO. And again, I don't build these into the color palette just because like I'm not using them that much. Just kind of like that. There's like my blinder, and that's it. Blinder, right? So I can go like kind of like, hey guys, how you doing? And then I have my strobe here. I'm actually gonna do one more thing. I don't want my UV in these cues, so I'm just gonna actually add this. Select this cue down there, and record Q1, and that'll just merge it into this cue. So now I won't get UV in any of these effects, which is what I want. There we go. There's my blinder, there's my build-up strobe. These I'm going to move over because I know I'm going to want something more intense in there as well. I'm also going to put blinder as the last one. That'll be fine. My strobe build will be here. I might have one more strobe build. Yeah, you know what? I'll have. Oh, well, here's the thing. Remember, so what I can do is I can also build strobes with like other things by doing this. Remember, I can do that. I'll have my strobe at its frequency, and I can just raise the intensity as I go up. And I can also do that with the wash effects. But I'll have like this dedicated wash effects one here. So I'll put this on reserve for now. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. But we'll get there when we get there. Cool. So I'm trying to think what else I need. I don't need much else. You'll see. But I'm going to start building a lot of my. So you'll get there. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to build is, to see like these things, right? So I'm going to build a bump effect now. And how I'm going to do this is I have a couple of groups. I'm going to use these four for a bump and a hold. So bump is going to be here, hold's going to be here. Hold is what you'll see like those really intense things do sometimes, and bump is just going to be like an alternating thing. And I don't need a whole lot of variety for this, just because I just don't. Again, this is a pretty basic show file. Wow, dude, this guy's like on fire. He's almost in my neighborhood. All right, I'm going to get this one effect built, and I'm going to get my McDonald's. So every two, first one's at full. Record. It'll be on. Which one is that? 11? Yeah. Spot. Alt. It's alternate. This will be a cue list. And the next one at 0. Don't worry about it. I'll explain why. Record. Spot alt. Clear, clear, clear. Every two. Next at full. Record. Spot alt. At 0. Enter. Record. Spot alt. Alright, so what do I have now? I have one cue that's saying first group on. Next cue is saying that group off. It just has a fade, just don't worry about it. Next one's saying other group on, right? The next one's saying that group off. Alright, let me show you this now and how this actually makes sense into how it's a bump effect. So I'm gonna actually I'm gonna add a view. So this is most active, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so what's happening? First thing I'm going to do, fade for now, is going to be 0. I don't want fade. And the second one is going to be a follow. The last one's going to be a follow. This one's going to have a fade of 0.4. This one's going to have a fade of 0.4. Okay, cool. Where am I? So, yeah. Then I have alternating. We're back. Same old. My view switched a little bit, but that's okay. Here's the dance floor. Yeah, let's go back to it. Basically, sorry, this isn't a network thing. Something weird happened. So here's where I'm at. I have this now, and that's cool because I'm going to use. This is the type of thing that I use a lot of. Where I have like these bumps, and I don't really need like a lot, so certain bigger shows I'll have ones where I'll have like these two, and then I'll have like side to side, and I'll have individual ones. You've probably seen like some of my content before, if you're a veteran here, but again for this is a different caliber as far as programming goes, so it's not that deep. Like that's not I'm putting less effort into it. That's literally just I'm not going to utilize these effects. So why program them, right? So I still have those. Those are cool, especially in motion. I can show you that. I'll do that in a minute. Same thing for pars. I'll have like these alternating kind of things where I'll have like one on and the other. I actually think if I want that for pars. Yeah, you know what? Yeah. So same thing. So that one will be at full. I'll record that here. Par alt at 0. Right. Record Q2. Clear. Next one at full. Record Q3 at 0. Record Q4. Same thing. I'm gonna make the second one a follow. This one a follow. I gotta make all these fades different. This one 0.4. 0.4. Cool. So now I have both this and I have this one. Right. Those are cool. So the next thing I'll do is I will say it's a little bit more annoying with these multi-instance fixtures because you actually need to zero out a lot of the things, which I'm trying to think if there's a good workaround for that because I am curious if I can like program it. I'm always open to doing things differently, especially if it's improving. I'm trying to think if there's like an actual way to go about that. That makes sense. Because if I keep them, basically what happens is the default for the pixels will be at 100 and the default for the master will be at 0. Because the default for the pixels is like RGB at 100. Remember, it's a virtual dimmer. So I'm trying to think if there's a way to like zero out everything with it still working properly. Because it'll still work with, remember, because I recorded the pixel intensity at 100 here. So that'll be fine. I guess there is no real reason to make it any different. Because because literally if I have my pixel A and B at 0, I can just select that and do record Q1. And I'll just have those at 0, and that's where that'll default to. Because these should still work. Yep, that'll still work. That doesn't get affected. Okay, cool. Let me try this, and if it doesn't work, then oh well. So, well, the first question is, how do I want to group them? And the simple way to group them is go to PiX-Masters. This is unrelated to the pixels. I do every 2, and I just highlight them. And that won't work now because I just did the thing. Alright, I'm curious what this all looks like if I do highlight. No, not highlight. Yeah, highlight. Grouping every 2. Oh, hello. Yeah, if I do every 5, I can just do like groups of a couple ones. And that'll also have like probably a mid-hold somewhere that has like these like scrolling. That'll be kind of cool. It's like fun. If I ever said I'm indecisive, I'll grab a chicken nugget and get going. So what I can do is if I do every 6, I can have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's what I'll do. And check out these apples. One. Well, that'll work. What are you doing? There's a thinking factor to this. Because the other option is I can reserve I'm gonna program it and just work from there, because if like I'm gonna do that and do this. One more idea. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. Alright, brain worked. Brain worked. Select. PiX-Masters, Wash Masters. And Max. Record Q1. Merge. Wash pixels. Pixel A and B. At 0. Record Q1. Okay. This should still. That's. Yep. Good. That doesn't work. Alright, but that's okay. Wash pixels at full. Record Q1. Yeah. There we go. That's working. Picture spilled. That's just everything. Yeah, cool. Good. Very nice. Now I'm done with my big nuggets, so now I become stupid again. Alright. Cool. That's cool. So, now I think I'm going to do what I have to do. So, if I do 3-6, F4. What? Why? Mm. 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 Mm-hmm. Fuck. Wait. Yeah, that should be fine. If I do every 6. 1, 2, 3. That's full. X. That's full. X. That's full. I think. Record. Q. 3. 0. Less. 0. Less. 0. Go to 4. Yeah, that's what I want. That's exciting. Yeah. Boom. I feel so accomplished now. All right, sweet. So we have alternating, alternating, alternating. It actually looks better than normal if I did it right. Blinder, strobe, cough. What else could you need in life? I have Wash FX. Those exist. I don't know if I want to like allocate an entire effects section to them. You know, I might have these two in reserve for like specialty effects. That sounds like the right thing to do. I just won't run effects in the Wash FX. I know they're like 28 channels, but I have room in the universe. Okay. And the truss warmers, I don't need things either. Like I have this, and I'm not going to use anything more than that anyway. Keep in mind, I could program so much more than I'm programming. I'm doing this because I am using what's in front of me. I have 20 things I have to operate. I could program 400, and I have program 400, and I don't need them. Good talk. I can always combine stuff as well, right? And remember, I can strobe them as well, so I can do like all these effects, but like strobing. Yeah, that's cool. Can't tell if those are strobing or not, but okay. Is that working? Yeah, it works. All right. Watch, don't need effects. Now I'm gonna do some of the holds. And how I'm gonna do this is I will have selectors for my waveform. So I'll have a sine wave, a babarupa wave, and a square wave. Let me show you how that works. So groups, basically spots, we'll start with. Intensity, output effects. Sine wave, first one. And remember, I'm doing this, I'm recording one parameter at a time. So nothing else is... Actually, I can do all these at the same time too. So intensity, output effects. Oh, I can do two of these at once. Effects. What sine wave? Wash intensity, output effects, sine wave, pixels, intensity, effects, sine wave. Pix masters, intensity, output, effects, sine wave. Pixels A and B, intensity, effects, sine wave. Could you guess on the last one? I don't know. Sine my wave. Alright, spots. Next one's going to be square wave, because that's a thing. Pars, also pars, square wave. Square. All right. There's two I bounced between. I'm pretty sure that it's this one, I think. And if it's not, then oh well. Other thing about presets is you can update them. So if I get it wrong, really not the end of the world. Ramp. There's definitely a title for this. It could be a, was it a, this is gonna bother me now. There's totally a name for it. Like a jaggered wave. Like a jig wave, something like that. That sounds wrong, but right. Okay, anyways. So now I'm actually building my intensity, like, effect builder. So how this is going to work is the holds are going to have a speed attribute and a intensity swing attribute built in. So for my spot, what that basically looks like is intensity effect is going to be a 200% swing. And I'll actually give myself the intensity. Well, actually, no, speed's supposed to be built in. So, see how, remember I did 113 for that old one? I'm actually going to do like 144. That seems very slow. Why am I tripping? Okay, no, here's a... Itching my forehead in this one. Wow, wait, why am I blinking? Okay, I think I figured out what I want to do. So I'm going to have these modifiers. So the shape modifiers are going to have a 1x and a 4x speed modifier built in. So everything that I just gave a sine wave. I mean, it's going to be a pain, but intensity effects. So see how it has like a 1x multiplier? I'm going to give it a 4x. And that'll be for basically what I'll just do is per song, I'll just switch it. In case, so my hold will just be like a toggle for having an active effect. And I'll still have finger control over it. I'll just select if I want it like a fast effect or a slow effect. Now then I'll have actual speed control. This will be 4x sine. Okay, sweet. What that will literally look like is just that. Square, so I'll have spots, same deal, just 4x. Cool. Great. So, I'll just name these so I know what they're doing. This will be sine 4x. This will be square 4x. This will be ramp 4x. And that solves the crisis. Basically what I was thinking was like, traditionally I'll have mid-hold that actually has like, I'll actually have speed, shape, and intensity all built into it. But I'm kind of drifting from that. Here, actually, no. That was when I had the Akai. Well, actually, no. I don't know if I had any. No, I hadn't. There's one video on this channel that has the Akai, which is my busking video. That I had mid holds that had like speed and all that built in. I like just separating parameters into like what I have in the programmer and whatnot. And then what I'll do now is this will still be my speed control. And then this will just this will do just the intensity swing, which will be 200 because I want it to go from 0 to to 100. Yeah, there we go. Okay, sweet. And that's all that's going to be recorded into the what? Wait. Yeah, so that'll be all that's recorded into the spot hold. Just so this is just intensity. I'll have a par 1. That's same thing, just swing of 200. The 200% is if you imagine if you're starting at 0, you want to get to 100 and below 100, right? So you're doing, it's just doing that. It's getting to the 100 and back down. 100% wave would be going to the 50 and the lower 50. And I don't have anything to bring them to the 50 value, which is where you'd get the, like, if it was here, it would be like 50s here, 0s here, 100s here. You'd get like the, the 50 nice like wave there, but it's just not how that works for this. So. Actually, these can probably be overrides, not. Because, yep. Yeah, and then remember speed. Whoa, why are they still on though? That's not good. They should release. Or actually, no, I don't lie. Why? Wait. Oh, we're fine. Just really slow. What I might do is the intensity. I might just actually raise what's on there. It's like that's like faster than I'll. Actually, no, that should be fine. Especially because if I use one of these, then I'll see I have like. What? Wait. Yeah. Cause see, so okay, yeah, there we go. So this is my 1 times, and then this is my 4 times. So if I'm doing like that again, like that hat, like faster mid hold with like the thing, especially with timing, that'll be fine. That'll be good. I might raise this a little bit, but we'll get there when we get there. All right, cool. Last thing is just the picks. So I'll do these. Actually, I might want to build timing into these too. That would make sense. Let me just do this first. Why are you not doing the thing? Oh wait, I know why. Do I need to do it that way then? I just did a big dumb. Actually, what we can do is I can just bring these to 100, and then bring these to with the effects timing. Well, why are they ducking? Oh, I know why. Because it will just invert the actual thing they're doing. No, that's fine. So that'll be good. And my mid hold will be for that, and one of my specialty effects will be the actual pixel effects. That's one of the big hitters with this type of setup. Why are you a thing? There you're. So now you should be all set. Same thing if I do that. There we go. Okay, so my mid holds are all set. And then I'm going to build in, so spot hold. These spots have the intensity effect timing, amount 8, grouping, random. Let's just see what that looks like. Here, I'm on the wrong thing. That'll be fun. Sweet. Great. Now I have that, and then I can trigger in these, do all sorts of jazz. That's pretty much what I go for with this. There's my crazy stuff. There we go. And then I can build it on my pan tilt effects here. So then there's like my show. There's a lot of that's a lot of what happens, right? And then there's a lot of that too. Yeah. Are you still recording? Yeah, you are. Okay. So that's a lot. A lot just happened. Cool. Let's now do some of those hold effects that were going to be cool. And this is shout out to Evan. This is the stuff we were talking about with the line, where like we can do these effects where. Well, let's do this. We'll do a 200% wave. But then we have across these, I'll do the amount. Same thing here, right? Why are you doing that? Oh, did they? Wait, why? Ooh. Huh? Wait, that makes no sense. Why is it right on one side? That'd be a shame. Because, like, why would those be inverted? It's literally a mirror. What did I do to copy them? What? Okay, that actually looks kind of fine. Wait, why does that look fine? Will it look the same? It will look the same. Well, okay, not quite. I'll take 17. I have to figure out why that's happening, because it shouldn't. Well, I did something wrong along the way, I just don't know what it is. Well, what I could do, it's the easy fix, grouping, I literally just reverse the entire thing. Wait, no, why? Wait, no, it doesn't, why does that not fix it? Well, I know what does, that doesn't fix it. Okay, interesting. Well, I want to do a bigger one anyway. I want to do like... this sort of deal. That's so weird, dude. Find text from Remy. It's like this is like. I mean, that's kind of cool looking. Oh, that's probably an effects. Oh, what if? Oh, I can do if I do a center. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. There we go. No, wait. It's the opposite. It should be. There we go. That's what I'm looking. That's what I'm looking. Alright, I'm going to call it that for now. Yeah, this will be a times 4. May as well. Alright, cool. So that'll be a specialty effect. Okay, so I'm taking a little bit of a break from the effects because I don't really know what I want to do for the PARs yet, but I have this one programmed. So what I want to now do is build a more usable playback window, because most of the programming is kind of done now. The rest will be very doable in just this window when I get to the site. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to unlock the workspace and actually make another window. This will be my actual official playback. And how I'm going to do this is I'm going to start by giving myself a couple things that I know I'm going to need. So color is one of them. I'm going to actually make this a little smaller, just want 2. I'm going to color code them. No, actually, I'll make that. You'll see. And then groups will be up here. So fixtures, not fixture center, it's actually just groups. I'll make this 3 layers. Or no, that's the auto. And this is 3. And I will fit what I need in there appropriately. And then I'm going to have a couple other things down here. So I will have pan tilt section, which is generally the largest. That'll be like yay big. Split this again. I'll have this split into. Okay, well I guess I won't. I'll have. Wait, what? Hold on. We're gonna do a little maneuvering real quick. Okay, there we go. Gobos, beam, and then yeah, and then intensity for all those modifiers that I just made. Great. So everything needs color coding. Yes, great, perfect. This will be play. And I'm not really using playback buttons a whole lot for this because this is a busking file, and I used to set up playback buttons for things, but I got very used to this way of doing it. So I'm just going to start organizing stuff down here. I got used to doing all of this just manually, and yeah. So strobe, that's a utility. I'm just trying to make this as visual as possible. And again, over here, I'm gonna program a little more into positions later, or not later, like when I get to site. That's my kill, so I just have that up top. Great. I actually need no gobo, forgot about that. That's important. I always color code my none effect as a one sec. Let's focus, that's what that is. Naming these now, so tight, medium, and wide for my zoom. Then I'm going to have these pink. I just call this one pink. The flower. call this one Octo. I don't know, I never actually counted if it's 8. I just like to call it Octo, and this one's always dots. Wonderful. That's no gobo. Cool. This is position. This is home. This is center. This is truss. I don't know what oh, that's probably a kill. That's tilt. Circle. Squiggle. Okay, now everything's labeled. I have to color code my color picker. Actually, I'm gonna do this now with my white down there and scoot everything over one. Okay, cool. The colors. Cool, there's my white. Great. There we go. So now we have a functional show file. I don't know how long that took, but I'm actually in a state now where I can like walk away from this and say this is usable for a show. It'll take a moment of practice to get used to it. I do also have these two open, so I'll decide what these are going to be. This I often program as a kill for effects, but I also didn't program effects holds really. Or I didn't program like actual, I don't know what you call it, like effects presets that, or intensity effects presets that like bring the values up. So that's normally what that kill switch does. So that's fine. And then again, this, if anything comes up, I can just plop something there. But again, that's a very, very basic show file that I can do a good amount with. I have what I need as far as like bumps and stuff goes. And again, this is a pretty basic job, but I can go as much as I need to now, as far as building my looks. I can do here. Let me show you this. So I can now actually build kind of everything I need to, right? So now I can actually build all my stuff, and it looks like a show. And there you go, you know? The pixels are the one thing that I always turn away from as far as like doing super intricate color things, because it gets kind of messy looking. But I probably will record. Actually, you know what? I'll do that right in front of you because it's kind of fun. So I'm gonna take Pixels A. I'm going to, and this might be messed up because of what's happening over here, which I'll diagnose my own. That's a me problem. Color. What I'm basically gonna do is I'm gonna take. I'm trying to think of what I want to do first. So I'm gonna put everything at center for now, which is still white. Right. I want to do like let's just say I want to do a blue to orange. So what I'm going to do is my blue, I'm going to fan to one side. I have more blue down there now, right? And then my red, I'm going to take fanning and pull away red. And green, I'm going to do the same thing. And then I'm also actually going to my green, I'm going to do a 3-point fan like that, and there's my blue to orange. And what I can actually do, there we go, that's kind of like a cool effect, right? Actually move around where I want that pink part. And I kind of want it closer to the other side, so I'll do that. There we go. Like that. Actually, you know what? I don't want it to be quite that dramatic. I'll do like there. Okay, cool. I'm curious if this will get messed up or not. Yeah, got messed up. Alright, I have to figure that out. There is one way of doing it that's pretty simple, actually, and I will try it because I want to fix this. Let's make sure I'm on the right side of the rig. Here we go. So, what I can do is I'm going to just pan like this. I'm going to grab all of these fixtures, set them at 0, and then individually rotate them. Well, not individually, I'm going to do it the quick way, which is the magic. Oh, where are you? Why are you not locking? I guess it might not want to lock. Okay, there we go. I'll just literally flip them. And I hope that, no, I hope that does what it's supposed to, live. Because that would be disappointing if I, you know, if that didn't do what it's supposed to do. Cool. So now that is doing what it's supposed to do correctly, I think. But now it's just inverted. Gotcha. Okay, well that's manageable. I can still work with that. This might be a thing that bites me when I get to the actual site, but that's what cranks are for. Trying to make it somewhat similar. Okay, so the camera died a little bit ago. I haven't done much since the camera died. The main stuff was I just made a couple of these fade color things on the PiX. And I just practiced to some music. I'm getting used to the Showfile. So I just want to do a little bit of an outro for this segment of the programming session. I'm pretty much done as far as anything goes. I decided that for now, until I am like really needing something else, I didn't program anything here yet. Knowing me, that'll change pretty soon. But for now, this is a pretty usable show file. I think it's very simple. But I prefer simple show files when I have the opportunity to use them. Just less moving, fewer moving parts are not really a bad thing. And it looks really cool. As far it's a freaking cool looking rig once it's all in color and moving and stuff. So there'll be some footage of the actual event, but I think this is a successful couple-hour programming session. Just 1:12 in the morning now, but this was a success, and I'm excited for this event. It should be really cool. The client's really excited too, so I'm excited to show them what's going on in this world. But I just saved the show file, and I'm ready to shut down for the night. So yeah, next up, actual gig footage.